Bullies shoved a new cleaner. Big mistake. Eleanor Vance wasn't just cleaning floors. She was about to clean house, and her past held a secret that would make the entire school freeze. The shove was a mistake. A colossal, life-altering miscalculation. They thought she was just the new cleaner, an easy target in a school suffocating under the weight of unchallenged cruelty. But Eleanor Vance was no ordinary cleaner. She was a ghost from a past where discipline was forged in fire, where respect wasn't asked for, but commanded. This school, Northwood High, had been bleeding students for years, a silent exodus of young lives driven away by relentless torment. Families moved, opportunities were cited, but everyone knew the truth. Kids left because they weren't safe. A brazen pack of boys, entitled and untouchable, stalked the hallways, their laughter echoing like a cruel soundtrack to the students' fear. Teachers, overwhelmed and weary, simply looked away, buried under paperwork in the endless cycle of he said, she said. It was a place where dignity withered and hope faded, until one Monday morning a quiet woman pushed a gray cart through its tired halls. Eleanor Vance arrived without fanfare, her crisp navy uniform blending into the background. Yet something about her was different. Her eyes, sharp and discerning, swept the corridors before her mop even touched the floor. Her shoulders were always back, her chin slightly lifted, a posture more rigid than any slouching teenager. Most would have guessed her age at late 60s, maybe early 70s, but her movements were precise, unhurried, a quiet ballet of purpose. She observed everything, the nervous glances, the hushed whispers, the way certain students avoided eye contact. By lunch, the bullies had noticed her. New cleaner, easy target, their smirks declared. Initially, it was just the usual racial slurs, the whispered insults that bounced off her back as if unheard. She never reacted, not once. But Eleanor wasn't there just to clean. While the school's worn-out staff ignored the slow decay, she had no intention of letting Northwood rot further. By the second week, the air around her shifted. The whispers grew louder, the insults sharper. Trouble wasn't something she sought. It came seeking her. It happened between fourth and fifth period, when the hallways roared with the chaos of teenagers. She was rounding a corner near the science wing, pushing her cart, when the pack moved in, a human wall of arrogant youth. One of them deliberately dropped his soda cup, the syrupy liquid oozing onto her freshly mopped floor. Eleanor didn't even glance up, just leaned her mop into it, calmly directing the mess toward a drain. Then a hand slammed into her cart, sending a metallic clang echoing through the hall, bottles rattling. The shove came next, a calculated burst of force, not enough to knock her over, but designed to humiliate. "We can touch you, and you can't do a thing about it," it screamed without words. The hallway fell silent, a collective gasp as everyone sensed the drama. Slowly, Eleanor straightened, her right hand adjusted her sleeve cuff. Her eyes, calm and utterly unreadable, met the smirking boy's gaze. In one fluid motion, she stepped into his space, her hand catching his wrist before he could even register her movement. Her grip wasn't crushing, but it was absolute. He froze, mouth agape. Another bully lunged forward, bravado still etched on his face, until Eleanor's other hand gently guided his momentum, pinning his shoulder harmlessly, yet firmly against the cold lockers. She didn't yell. She didn't threaten. Her voice, low and even, cut through the tension effortlessly. And then, as quickly as it began, she released them. The boys stumbled back, eyes darting to the growing crowd. Their swagger vanished, replaced by stunned confusion. Eleanor calmly picked up her mop, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. By the last bell, the story had morphed into legend, spreading through the school like wildfire. A cleaner took down two boys. No punches, no bruises, just pure control. Half the kids swore it was fake. The other half whispered, "No, I saw it." Parents arrived before sunset, their expensive SUVs lining the curb, their voices echoing outrage through the hallways. Assault. Liability. How dare she? Inside his office, Principal David Chen didn't rush. He closed his door, lowered the blinds, and pulled up the security footage. It ceased corridor, angled by the science wing. He watched, frame by frame, the spill, the formation, the cart slamming. Then, Eleanor's precise, almost surgical response. The wrist caught, the momentum guided, the shoulder pinned. No rage, no spike of aggression, just steady composure, her eyes tracking exits even as she released them. He rewound, watched again, and again. That wasn't luck, he murmured. He opened another file, incident reports from the past year, names repeated, patterns surfaced, same corner, same pack, different victims. He lined them up like dominoes and felt the room tilt. He called security, requested footage be cloned, statements from staff. Eleanor's file was thin, on time, meticulous, no complaints. One line, former trainer, no details, just that, like a folded knife in a pocket, not threatening, but undeniably real. The parents pressed harder, demanding action against Eleanor. David Chen listened, pen tapping once, then still. He felt the familiar pull to make it all disappear, to smooth it over. But the tape played behind his eyes. The shove, the restraint, the release. He stood, shoulders square. We'll follow procedure, he stated, his voice even. Statements, board review, temporary suspensions pending investigation. The word suspensions cooled the room. When they left, he drafted a memo. Recommend escalation to formal hearing. Repeated harassment documented. Immediate safety concerns for the broader student body. He saved it, exhaled, and felt a quiet click inside. We're going to see this through. The hearing wasn't in a courtroom, but it might as well have been. The long table, the rigid silence. Every cough a firecracker. The bullies' parents sat stiff-backed, their sons slouched. On the other side stood Principal Chen, laptop ready, folders stacked, and beside him, quiet, unshrinking, stood Eleanor Vance. She wore a simple gray sweater, black slacks, her silver hair neatly tied back. She didn't fidget. She stood with the patience of someone who knew her truth. The footage played first. No commentary, just the sounds of the hallway, the shove, the clang, and her measured exact response. The room held its breath as the ringleader's wrist locked, as his friend's shoulder met the locker's. Then the release. No strikes, no malice, just undeniable skill. That's restraint, a board member murmured. The parents erupted, voices climbing, words like overreaction and humiliation flying. David Chen didn't raise his voice. He clicked to the next slide. Incident logs, dates, times, reports from students who'd left, anonymous notes from staff who'd finally found their voice. The pattern was impossible to ignore. This isn't about one afternoon, he said, his voice steady, carrying to every corner. It's about a culture that's been allowed to grow here, and I won't let it take another student. The vote wasn't unanimous, but it was decisive. The bullies were expelled. The board authorized a full review of Northwood's anti-bullying protocols. And Eleanor Vance, she was thanked formally for her professionalism and composure. Word traveled fast. Parents who'd pulled their kids out began calling, asking about re-enrollment. Within weeks, the halls felt different. Not perfect, but lighter. Conversations didn't hush when certain footsteps approached. Students lingered between classes without watching their backs. Eleanor Vance kept working. Same cart, same steady pace. She never mentioned her military years. Never told them she'd trained people twice their size and 10 times as aggressive. She didn't need to. Those who were there that day knew exactly what they'd seen. And those who weren't, they learned soon enough. Respect, once taught properly, never fades. What a powerful lesson, wouldn't you agree?